afternoon, SE 504 Seminar in Special Education. My name is Rebecca Stone, and I am going to present to you the second part of my signature project, which is the effects of implementing behavior modifications in the classroom. This is my action plan analysis. My original data was collected on the effects of implementing behavior modification in the classroom. I am currently a special education self-contained teacher in Chatham, Alabama at Chatham Elementary School, which is in Washington County, Alabama, just north of Mobile. This data that I collected was gathered inside both the special education classroom and various general education classrooms, all with students who are identified on the autism spectrum or with some type of behavioral issue that would qualify them for special education services. Students were chosen based on identified need and knowledge that they would benefit from learning behavior modification techniques and practices. I usually did this. We have ABA therapists that occasionally come in and work with the students that have behavior plans on IEPs, and that's who I used, who I chose to participate and collect my data from. My identified problem in this study was how students in rural areas like Washington County, Alabama could benefit from receiving behavior support services. Due to the location of our county, students are unable to receive these services due to the certified professionals who are not willing to travel to our location, and this is a huge problem where we live. We have to fight tooth and nail every year to have people who will come up here and provide therapy, and we have unfortunately a huge turnover rate of these people who will come in and work with our students. My background investigation, when choosing this topic, I looked within my own special needs classroom and identified my personal students who could benefit from these services. My sampling method that I used to collect the data was stratified random. This method was used to ensure that the correct distribution of students from each group was included in the samples. Instrumentation. The instrument that I used to gather data was the VMAP data collection system. It's a well-renowned data collection system that is used by ABA therapists. I actually had an ABA therapist help me learn how to use it. It's pretty dense, pretty complicated, but we did it. Collaboration efforts for this project. I collaborated with general education teachers in my school to collect the data needed for the study. The teachers willingly let me come in their rooms, observe, and collect data. And for this project, I also worked with ABA therapists who would come in occasionally and work with students with behavior support needs. By procedures, when using the VB-MAP data collection system, several factors must be correctly implemented, otherwise the data collected would be untrue. Direct testing, untimed observation, and timed observations are the three methods of data collection with VB-MAP. There are also 24 areas assessed to completely collect all the data required with VB-MAP. And they all have their nice little color-coded collection charts. Internal validity. As far as the internal validity with this project, I believe all of my data analysis answers my research questions without bias. The students that I chose and asked to participate in the study were an honest representation of what the study represented. They truly illustrated what I wanted to study. External validity of the data collected in the study can be generalized and compared with other studies. Ethical considerations, confidentiality, of course, and special education. We know how to say confidentiality in lots of different languages and lots of different ways. It's very important to protect identity of participants and the information collected involving them. Special populations. This research project is completely based on a special population, students with special needs, ages 5 to 11. The IRB. This project, if it were to be implemented, would require an IRB review as it includes research and human subjects. Other ethical considerations. You see on the left slide here, I have the consent form and then the permission letter. There was also another form that we did for the first signature project, but it was kind of generalized, not a whole lot of personalization on it. But the consent form authorization for a minor to serve as a subject in research was created to use in this project, and also, as you see here, permission to conduct research letter was also penned for approval by the school district superintendent. All right, the results. This here is just a general form. I wasn't going to actually post the one that I use because that would breach confidentiality, as you see here on my note. Okay, compiling all of my data though. 25% of the students participating in the study saw an increase in positive behaviors after receiving behavior modification, after learning behavior modification techniques. 30% of students participating in the study corrected certain behaviors by at least 50% after learning behavior modification techniques. 45% of students participating in the study corrected certain behaviors by at least 25% after learning behavior modification techniques. And my last bit of data that I chose to share is 15% of students experienced no change in behavior after learning certain behavior modification techniques. So that would tell us that we need to, in my old terms, need to back up and punt. We need to try something different with them. But most of my data showed positive student achievement. Changes that I would make. I would choose a smaller amount of participants, especially in an initial study. I think I chose way too many going in. I believe choosing less participants would show more growth and have more accurate data. Not that my data is not accurate. I just think it would be a lot easier to compile and collect if I had chosen fewer participants. Finally, what would I do different? My reflection. I would change possibly to a different data collection tool, one that is easier for a teacher as opposed to an ABA who has had a lot more training in DB Maps use. I would choose a much more teacher-friendly collection tool. That is almost the end of my presentation. I have additional research. What additional research could be done in the area to improve student achievement? Additional research could be conducted to compare achievement between students in urban areas as opposed to students in rural areas to see how they compare after receiving ABA therapy and learning behavior modification techniques. I had no way to truly compare this because I had no way to compare, to collect data, but I could possibly enlist a teacher, possibly in a more urban setting, to help me collect data and compile it for a further study. What we studied here in Washington County with the study was how much better these students got when they received the ABA therapy that they needed to help with their behavior. I don't want to say problems or issues, but things that they're having trouble with. And I think we saw very positive results in that aspect. But if I was to do this all over again, I think I would get a teammate that worked at a different school, perhaps in a more urban setting, to compile the same data, and so we could compare it and see how we could improve. I hope you found my presentation of my project insightful, helpful in a way. If you were to have any questions about this, I can be emailed at rebecca.stone@wcbek12.org. I'd be happy to talk to you. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.